Before NWA, it was hard to get people to question the police conduct. Now, police conduct is just as scrutinized as criminal conduct, which is good because, the difference between a cop and a crook is a badge. It's stuff about the world that pissed me off, and it's stuff in this world that makes me smile. Nobody was gonna make me do something I didn't want to do. I'm real about what I gotta say, who I am, and what I'm doing. I speak for more than myself. I feel like I am the voice of the people.
Ice Cube,
Yeah.
how are you? So, on the record with Fuse.
Yeah.
So, tell me about your new album, I Am the West. When you put out an album, say, I Am the West, who's gonna say anything other?
I wouldn't have said it if I wasn't in that position. I'm not here to diss nobody, but I am here to shed light on me and shed light on what I've done, my history. I've repped the West Side from day one, and in retrospect, could have probably lost a lot of record sales by doing it, but sometimes you gotta do what's right. And I felt, the West Coast always gets a bum rap.
Look at you, repping the West.
I'm always repping the West, man. Somebody gotta represent it.
I recently did a little thing on Twitter. Who's the best MC in Cali? I said you. And very few people argued with that.
Good.
Do you think you're the best MC come out of Cali?
Yeah, I do. Because of, the substance, the arc, and the career, and the influence in other areas other than hip hop.
To my mind, what makes you great as an MC is what you say and the power in your voice and how you come from deep in your throat. So it's like, I'm kind of roaring at you.
Yeah.
Is that what you think your strength is as an MC?
Well, I think content is really big, clarity. So I've been always trying to go there, as far as vocally, trying to be in pocket and to have a unique sound and a voice that gets your attention. A lot of MCs are missing content. They scared to go there.
A lot of MCs would always make it a story like, he did this, he did that, and you would always make it, I did this, and so it makes it very personal and visceral and like immediate, like the MC is talking about me.
I use different techniques. I think that's a good way to get people's attention. The subject matter, really is the struggle of us here in America. Ultimately, that's what these rhymes are about. So, it's just trying to present this struggle in a different way. I love to do it. I still do it as a hobby. It's still fun like it was when I was 14.
Hip hop is a hobby to you now.
It's always been. Like some people go play, poker, or some people go, do other things, to have fun. I write rhymes, make hip hop, go in the studio.
So take me back to the beginning of you and hip hop, the first time you heard a rap record.
It was 1979. My Uncle Jerry was taking me to the dentist. I'm kind of not paying attention, and then a record come on. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, okay, that wakes me up. And then these dudes are rapping. To me, they like nursery rhymes.
Right. Rapper's
and,
delight.
Yeah, rapper's delight. And they go on and on and on and on to the break of dawn. You know what I mean? So from there, I had a thirst for hip hop.
I mean, I had a similar experience, but nothing in me said, I could do that. I want to write rhymes. I want to be like them. But something in you said, I could do that.
Well, it didn't happen years later. That happened. I was just a fan. Then, like in the 9th grade, I found out that I could do it. They made me take typing as an elective. So it was a guy in there, kiddo, and he looked back one day and he said, hey, you ever write a rap before? I was like, nah. And he was like, yo, you write one, I'll write one. So I start typing out my rap, he start typing out his. Mine was better, of course.
Do you remember what you were writing about?
here's something I want you to know, I'm not Run DMC or Curtis Blow. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? Just kind of simple rhymes. But I never stopped from that day.
Now, what you do, and even did at the beginning, is totally different than what New Yorkers were doing. You're building off of what Ice-T did. He's the father of LA hip hop, right?
Well, yeah, Ice-T, he really took it nationwide. You know, with that record he did called 6 in the Morning, it really kind of opened up a door for us. We could talk about what's going on in our lives, in our neighborhoods, what we see here and go through.
Is it fair to say that the central energy behind LA hip hop is gang culture, gang life, and that whole situation?
I think it's just the struggle. You know, I don't know if everybody who pick up a pen has, you know, gang thoughts in their mind. I think it's a part of life that's not being documented. So it's like the MCs feel obligated to document it.
Did you ever join a gang?
Nah, not officially.
I mean, well, but how did you avoid not having to join?
Well, nobody was gonna make me do something I didn't want to do. My father was there to guide me, and he was the only man I was listening to in this world. You know what I mean?
But you were in a gang called Niggas with Attitude.
Oh yeah.
Now, where did the name NWA come from?
It was between Eazy and Dre, because they came and picked me up one day and was like, how you like NWA? And I was like, what that mean? And he said, niggas with attitudes. I was like, yeah. I was like, damn, if y'all had just did this, I would still be in NWA.
One of the seminal records of all time of hip hop, and especially NWA, is Fuck the Police.
Yeah.
Talk about making that record and what you were thinking about in writing it.
Well, you know, that record has a funny history because Dre didn't like the song. You know, he had got arrested a few times. They was talking about an ankle bracelet, and last thing he wanted to hear was a rap about the police. So he was like, man, nobody want to hear that. So I ripped it out. And my homeboy, Philip Jefferson, he said, nah, can't do that. And puts it back in my notebook. He said, that's too good. Don't throw that song away. So, fast forward, I'm out of school. We working on the NWA record. We thinking of concepts, what we gonna do. And I say, hey, I got a song called The Police. And they like, Eazy goes crazy. His eyes get wide. He's like, let me hear it. So we start rapping it. By that time, Dre had got through his trouble. He had money in his pocket. He was cool. He was like, yeah, let's do it.
But I mean, one of the key lines, black police showing out for the white cop.
Yeah.
Which is deep because you're not just saying whites are bad. You're like, yo, some of the black cops are just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah, I mean, you know, black cops, you know, they go through a lot of racism in their departments. So sometimes to show that they're one of the boys, they're extra hard on the citizens of their same race. So they give their own race a hard time showing the guys in blue that they're 100% down with blue and they're not looking at skin color. So sometimes, you know, black cops are the worst.
Does your perspective on the police change from when you were a teenager in South Central getting harassed to now that you're a father, you're a mogul, you live in the suburbs, you have stuff that needs to be protected?
Yeah. I mean, you know, they're nice to you when you got money and when you know, you know, hey. So I guess that's the key.
You wouldn't make a record like that now.
I mean, I've made critical records against the police still to this day. I mean, just because things are cool with me, that doesn't mean America is fine.
Right.
You know, when you're a rapper, you speaking for more than just yourself. You should be.
Yeah.
And I gotta speak up for it no matter what my bank account say.
So the police gets you a letter from the FBI.
Yeah.
You are
not me.
Not
I mean,
you.
Priority Records.
Yeah. You, but the group is inciting people to attack the police and shoot the police, and we don't appreciate that. Now, when you see this letter, are you like, Oh my God, this is the best endorsement we could possibly have. Thank you so much.
Nah, we was wondering why was they tripping over a letter, because they was over there going crazy, like, you know, they was scared, they was ready to close the company. Like, we used to Lennox Sheriff Department coming through there with more than a letter. You know, that back then, Daryl Gates had the Batarang. If he thought your house was a crack house or whatever, he'd just knock it in. So a letter to us was like, is this it? We looking, we reading it. Like, damn, that's it? We was too naive to understand, you know, what this letter really meant.
In Straight Outta LA, the piece you directed for ESPN, talking about the history of the Raiders, you made an interesting point how you guys are wearing Raiders gear and you're really borrowing that Raider image, and it immediately says, okay, California, tough guys, outlaws, revolutionaries, winners.
Yeah. Well, you know, being right there in South Central Los Angeles, we never felt like we had a team, because South Central, Watts, Compton are right locked on to each other. So we never felt we had a team that represented that side of LA.
You had the Rams then, but
But who cares? You know, they soft. So it just fit. Their image was our image, and our image was their image in a lot of ways, because we were the outlaws of hip hop, doing it our way, and we were gonna be successful at it.
so you're not in NWA for very long. You're really, what, a year and a half in NWA?
Well, it's more than that, because we actually started doing records in '86. So we were like together from there until about '89. So
It's
I
like-
look at it as a 3-year.
But it's
Span.
the problem is not personal. The problem with NWA is economics, right? You start
Yeah.
to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not making any money here.
Yeah, I didn't think our advance was divided right. So I start questioning, like, wait, who doing what? You know what I mean? I know I'm pulling my weight, and I start seeing the producers making more than the writers. So I'm like, that ain't how it's supposed to go, bro. And what was funny is, like, when I left the group, they start paying me. Like, they didn't want me to sue, I guess. So they start paying me my checks, and I was like, damn, if y'all had just did this, I would still be in NWA.
One of the best diss records of all time is No Vaseline. And you've had several battles with different people, and you're always vicious, and you're always killer. What is the strategy for making a great diss record and winning a battle?
Going after the jugular. I won't talk about children or family members or nothing like that, but everything about the person is game. And I think when you really do it right, you can have an impact.
So, did you make peace with Eazy before he passed?
Oh yeah, years had went by since No Vaseline. You know, he was having his problems with Dre. You know, at that time, we was in the club and we just saw each other. We went to the bar and just talked. We was in there talking about how we could put it back together. And you know, he said that he think he can talk to Dre. You know, it was just, it was all good.
But there was a personal thing that had to be covered over, right? Because you said mean things, he said mean things.
Yeah, but you know, that was all in hip hop. You know what I mean? We didn't look at that as a vicious thing. We always saw, you know, that it's just business. You know, everybody's not at the beach, and everybody's not walking down Sunset, and them people, you know, gotta have a voice too.
You've had an amazing film career.
Yeah.
Is there a strategy in terms of, I'm gonna give you this, I'm gonna take this role so I can show Hollywood I can do this, I'm gonna show the ticket buyers who I am?
You know,
and
it's just basically just acting. You know, a lot of people say, okay, if you do this kind of movie, you're this kind of person. It's not true. We did Friday, which is an R-rated comedy. And then with Barbershop, we got a broader audience because that's PG-13. So when Are We There Yet came along, here was a chance to go after my chorus children and introduce them to Ice Cube. So we did a PG comedy.
But I mean, it's interesting to me that in Hollywood, you're not just an actor, you're also a producer and a director. And so you're seeing a different side of the business.
Yeah.
And you're bringing that back to hip hop, say with a record like Hood Robin. So, you know, it's interesting how you rise up, but you're bringing some of your perspective back through the music.
Yeah, you know, it's always been a thing with like street knowledge. It's about showing the street what the powers that be are doing to them. And it's showing the powers that be what the streets are thinking about them.
Talk about your philosophies as a dad. Like, how do you do your thing as a father?
Always there to correct, fair but firm. I give them the freedom to be who they are and make sure that they come up good people.
And you're married 20 years, is it?
We've been together since '89, so we've been together for 20 years.
How do you stay married 20 years?
I love her, you know what I mean? She loved me. We don't let nobody else get in our business. And, you know, we're partners in this world.
The LA riots. Could that happen again? Is LA tense, or is it a different day? And
No, it's not a different day. You know, it's a lot of things that go on in LA that fuse a powder keg. But it definitely can happen. You got a lot of mad and desperate people, and they're mad because they're desperate.
what were you doing during the LA riots?
Making sure my stuff was all right, you know, making sure my property was all right.
You were at
making
home.
sure my family was all right. Yeah, you know, I wasn't gonna get out in them streets. You know, it's easy to get killed during a riot.
One of the seminal records in your career and in hip hop history was It Was a Good Day. And it's a total shift for you, hopeful, optimistic, you know, placid and cool. And where did that record come from? And does it matter that it's a few months after the LA riots that you said maybe we need to show them a different direction?
You know, that record was done before the riots was done.
Okay.
But it was a record that I felt was as real as the police, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But it's about being in this neighborhood and still finding the sunshine shining through, you know, and not letting what's happening around you take you down. I'm one of those people that, you know what I mean, no matter how dark it is, it's still some light at the end of the tunnel. And my job is to find the light.
Cali hip hop has been like, it's dark, it's rough. And that record in particular was like, nah, I love my life and I had a great day today and tomorrow might be a great day too.
Yeah, you know, the thing about LA is unpredictable. You know, it is two different sides of the track out there. You know, everybody's not at the beach. And everybody's not walking down Sunset. And them people, you know, gotta have a voice too.
Yeah. One of the lines too that leaps out to me from your career is, I never had dinner with the president. But you were talking about the first George Bush.
Yeah.
Now, you'd have dinner with the president. Or
Yeah, I
have
would.
you had dinner with
No,
the
I
president?
haven't had dinner with the president, but I would. Yeah, I'd have dinner with Obama. Yeah, definitely.
So now with your Raiders mired in long-term depression, how's that making you feel? Is there any way out of that?
Yeah, Super Bowl win. You know, I'm gonna stick with him. I've been with him this long. I ain't turning my back. You know.
But you still got the Lakers.
Yeah, the Lakers keep LA sane. You just talking about a riot, LA would really blow up. The Lakers keep LA. It's the glue.
And that's the two sides of you, right? The NWA death certificate Raiders side, and then the I'm Hollywood, I'm a mogul, I'm sitting courtside at the Laker game side.
Well, I sit in my suite at the Lakers, you know. Courtside, I want the show to be on the court, not on me. So, yeah, you know, I enjoy the finer things in life, you know what I mean? That's why I work so hard. It's never about the fame, you know, it's all about getting busy, being in the lab, doing the work, and all that other, the fame and all that stuff, it take care of itself.
You said you enjoy the finer things. What's the best toy you got?
Oh man, it's really my suite at the Staples Center. That's probably the best toy I got. I love it.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. No problem.